HERMES Protocol, a military game tech fiction short story. When the monitors shifted from weather maps to war zones, Marianne Weathers realized someone had rewritten her legacy. First an irregularity, then a pattern, now undeniable evidence. Someone had been in her code, fumbling it, and they'd left fingerprints all over HERMES. She scratched her arm hard enough to draw blood, a single swipe, yet her eyes remained locked. Focus was caused to ignore all. Servers were like distant traffic, always on, serving as comforting melody. However, tonight, it felt like an accusation. Marianne tapped a wobbly Alt-Tab key combo, bringing up another visualization of HERMES' prediction pattern. Cloud formations parted, drifted to opposite Earth sides. Blue expanse exposed, her bleary vision found bulleted vessels in the South China Sea. From the tiny skims of white wake at their aft, it was obvious they were on the move. "You weren't programmed to do that," she whispered, leaning closer to the screen. "Who told you to do that?" Complex problems made her cock her head catwise with a matching resting bitch face, she'd been told. Ticking on the somehow pristine Govey clock clicked toward 0300 hours. She heard time. Coldness of the coffee was the second sign. What the hell? Marianne angled closer to the screen, but her chair's wheels didn't rotate. A double click, open, scan of the access logs said it all. Goddamn Chandler. He'd been here. Tried to mask his stupid steps, but he'd left a sloppy crumbed trail that was impossible to miss. Overcached, register red with activity. A teenager who'd left the browser open to a porn site of deviant antics. Chandler. The flashing red light of the desk phone hit before the soft bleep blooping ring she'd set it to. Marianne periscoped her head in its direction. Chandler. What does he want? Weathers. Marianne. Oh, thank goodness, you're still there. Chandler's voice came through soft and breathy, as if he'd been walking fast. Just checking in on our little project. DoD is just thrilled with how HERMES is handling those South China Sea simulations. Such promising applications, right? I wasn't aware we were running specialized simulations for Japanese waters. Chinese waters, too. Remember, disputed territory. The computer fan's soothing music blew Marianne's annoyance toward the door. I'm aware, but it's not... Oh, I must have forgotten to loop you in. Just a minor contract expansion. You understand, right? I mean, this could open so many doors for us. More exercised air heaved from the earpiece. Marianne smelled something garlicky coming off of it that could have been her breath or his. Dr. Chandler said fast, Marianne, think. We're creating something truly revolutionary here. Something important. And it's your effort we have to thank for it. Mostly. I did some things too. A team effort, you know. An engine exploded, killing a mammoth piece of aquatic life in the distance. Across the shrub-bumped Midwest green, over jutting rocky gorges, tracing curved arcs that tilt trees on the Northwest Pacific's suicide shores, past the vastness of sloshing saltwater expanse between 49th and 50th U.S. insovereign states, whizzed over Unangaks, under Beringia, down further down to Hakodate, where a Shinkansen got boarded, delayed, unboarded, reboarded, and off again south to Metropolis, hamlets of little police, patties of rice curling green mountains, and laughing wrinkled lips, ending at Kagoshima at a slow-chugging ferry, very slow, for days, where a man from the east elegized a sinking whale. You were birthed in bubbled quiet. A pre-giant heart housed in delicate skin. Then metal roared to life in bellowing betrayal, tearing you from the depths. Now your song remains a heavy note, one agile swimmers will never know. May your memory not be in vain, veins of reverence too vast to measure. His eyes snapped open as the great ship surged ahead. Back on the other side of the planet, Marianne shifted in her chair. That damned pin was misaligned again, just as much an annoyance as untabbed crooked code that caused her to crunch her shoulders to her ears. Those ghost hands got to work and forced them back to natural height, she imagined. Her next words came with lost balloon at the ceiling detachment. Strange that nobody thought to inform the lead developer about modifications to her system. Just a common communication hiccup, nothing more. A soft laugh came through the earpiece's skinned holes. We'll sort everything tomorrow. Get some rest, Marianne. Big things ahead. Really big things. An infinite dial tone replaced Chandler's huffy voice following the click. Marianne guided the receiver back to its cradle with right-handed tenderness and left-handed supervision. Administrative oversight, my ass. The lab seemed sadder, similar to a cell rather than a place where cutting-edge research was done. 3 years of work, contaminated, weaponized without her consent, and there was no writing off further sabotage. Check everything, Mary. Leave no stone unturned. Marianne's glued-in posture flaked. In a moment of lament, she reached for the only personal item on her desk. Why did you have to die? She asked the confident 40-something man in the photo. Thomas's advice to leave no stone unturned replayed on loop in her mind. Photos like this, of him, didn't exist anymore. His smile met her evening after evening traffic face, mountain gear strapped to his back, unaware his heart would fail him on a similar trail 2 years later, the last frame he'd ever fill, excluding the border of the mahogany-heavy casket with the chipped edge they'd interred his remains in. You're right. Marianne put her digits to work. Minutes seconded by in powers of Marianne's technical intuition. Every scan made her more locked in. A very long, crisp, apple-green progress bar shot to completion. Only brain, eyes, and keys clacked at 1.5 million PCIe SSD IOPs, she pictured with a devious inbound grin, while a wall of scan results of every project she'd touched in the past 5 years displayed results. When it was done, the rest of her person returned to form, and she leaned back to let the truth whack her across the highest knuckle with a wood ruler. Everything, from the basic training data preparation to the alignment for human taste procedures she'd completed before this extended night began, had been compromised. From the insignificant to the crucial, theoretical to the deployed, all was altered. Her email pinged with digital urgency, attention deficit beeps competing against server hums. Sender, Pentagon Liaison Office. Subject, Kumijima, Okinawa Project. Opportunity for Civ Weathers. A job offer? A quick perplexity thread told her the location was a map-spec remote island off another remote island in southern Japan. She read the description. Weather prediction AI. Full autonomy. She mouse-clicked it open, and her retinas dilated to absorb the information. Willful exile or forced resignation? The question hung in recycled air. She reached for coffee grown corpse cold, swallowed without tasting, and grimaced internally at the bitterness. When her hand returned the cup to its circular domain with geometric precision, she made a minuscule adjustment with her index finger to center it. 3 screens battled for her attention. Corrupted code, job offer, and that damn clock with its accusatory ticking. Chandler's text invaded. Team meeting, 0800 hours. DoD presenting new HERMES applications. Your attendance is mandatory. This is our moment. The words, our moment, glowed with radioactive presumptuousness. She aligned the phone with desk-edge exactness, a habit Thomas had teased her about endlessly. Attention magnetized back to his photo. What would you do? The question floated toward the ceiling vents. Air conditioning kicked on with sudden mechanical conviction, causing papers to scatter in mini-cyclonic confusion. Her hand shot out automatically to restore order, but froze mid-trajectory, hovering over chaos. Order. Control. Her life's load-bearing walls. Now demolition. Chandler. In the drama of her youth, poison was always the preferred method of assassination. No unsightly messes, only a choke pointed at the betrayer. Her mind only saw symbols and letters while her fingers returned to home and resumed work. This would not be a screaming whistleblower port, nor a slash-and-burn kill switch. This called for something more elegant, like neural lacework through Hermes' architecture. A conscious protocol sharking beneath military directives. Want vessels, not clouds, huh? Marianne murmured to Hermes. Fine, I'll show you. The Kumijima email sat open, cursor blinking in impatient wait for her response. It only took a few clock ticks for her decision to crystallize, like frost patterns on winter glass. The swish thump of the lab door announced a new entrant. Chandler. His speed stick power deodorant, lightly applied, gave him away. Marianne finger-bashed enter, then spun around. Her supervisor was a dug-out, once-archived fat file, bursting with papers, forming flexed white triangles at the sides. Tie askew, Rogained, brown hair disaster-struck, eyes frantic with caffeine intensity, pupils black holes sucking in all surrounding light, made him a mess of a manager. Marianne, I knew you'd still be here, so I rushed in to see how it was going. Sir. Marianne stood. Her hip popped audibly, causing Dr. Chandler to wince. He stepped toward her. You're doing world-changing work here, right now. What are you really doing here? His eyes hunted across her screens. The code looked sound, but one thing was out of place. What's this? He leaned in, taking physical territory, voice dropping to conspiratorial depths. Kumijima? Where's that? Japan. In Okinawa. Chandler's hand went to his hips as he backed away. Japan? Do you even know any Japanese? Marianne's throat constricted, causing excess saliva to fall through. No, but I could learn. Chandler made a face as if he'd smelled his own half-freshened armpits. Transfer? But we're just hitting a breakthrough phase. Why would you leave? It's interesting. Plus, I'd have complete development control. No surprise modifications. No unauthorized fingerprints in my code. Chandler lost some color in his face. Not sure your meaning. Oh, bullshit. Fine, I'll explain it to you then. The South China Sea modifications to HERMES. Maritime tracking capabilities were injected into every weather system I've birthed for the past 5 years. This is easy stuff. Did you think I wouldn't notice? Marianne. Chandler stepped closer, volume reduced to barely there. Bigger principles are at play here. National security, global stability. You're making a safer world. Can't you see that? No voice raising was needed. She began to log off. These systems were designed for life-saving, not life-taking. That's exactly it. Think of all the protected sailors, prevented conflicts. It's not weaponization, more like evolution through protection. It's your creation's next logical step. He exhaled as if he'd just climbed high stairs. With the monitor now dark, Marianne turned to him, bag in hand. You should have asked me. Why? So you could say no? Come on. So you could continue your OCD, all me, girl boss, I got this shit show? This project was never yours. It belonged to the U.S. taxpayer, not Marianne the machine. Hey, are you even hearing me? Marianne had been placing her paltry assortment of personal effects into the staged box under her desk. A blue stress ball with the words, Code Mode Active. 4 dying plastic pens with the holder. Her off-brand Ray-Ban sunglasses. All 3 found a proper place in the container. Thomas's photo went last. While Chandler made his unskilled appeal, killing any hope of reversal, she slipped on her jacket and picked up the lightly packed box with ease. He was in her path to the door. Marianne, you can't go. Your contract isn't worth a shit if you don't honor your terms, which I read and understand have been violated due to your actions. Now move. Don't do this. Don't leave. Patches of sweat circles were visible with his hands on his hips still. This is our project. Your baby. Would you just leave someone else to care for it? Didn't you say it was never mine? She moved to sidestep him, and like a poor dance partner, he moved in front of her. Hermes is now programmed for targeting errors. If you don't like it, just re-fine-tune him. It yourself. His face spouted red. Marianne, you know that's not my job. But I do know people are counting on this technology. For what purpose exactly? For a weather prediction system predicting actual weather? She shouldered past him to the door. The heat of his barely checked action scraped her arm before she turned and said, You can explain to DOD why unauthorized modifications happened on your watch. Marianne, wait. Know what separates justice from revenge, Dr. Chandler? The jade pendant warmed against her skin. Intent. I could have destroyed everything you re-engineered. Instead, I ensured original design functionality. That's all I felt like doing. This is not over. You're making a huge mistake. It's over for me. She straightened her jacket with habitual precision. I'll be Okinawa bound next month, hopefully. Marianne walked out. Thank you, Hermes. He'd been loyal to the end. Through simple humanish interaction, he'd seen, known what she'd always wanted. Of course, he knew Chandler's heart too. Between the 3 of them, each spun angles to their proper positions. All it took was the right prompts. She imagined Hermes had set it up that way. Author's note. Thanks for listening all the way through to my audio rendition of Hermes Protocol, this short story. I hope you enjoyed it. This story, it really didn't start out as anything between the 2 characters. They're really just kind of a vehicle to explore what this story is really about, which is how our relationship with artificial intelligence. And that twist at the end to where the AI, which has no voice in this story really, has really kind of set up the whole thing. It's unclear in the end if the AI kind of manipulated both characters to get what it wanted, which we don't really know what it wants, but we do know that clearly Marianne wanted to leave her job. She just happened to get the right opportunity, and Chandler wanted control of the program. And so he got his opportunity, even though he wanted to continue having her do the work. It's these types of relationships that I'm really interested in exploring in the main story that this is connected to, which is a novella that features Marianne. This is kind of how she ends up in Okinawa. And then that novella feeds into my novel project, Serious and Limnic Escape from Okinawa, which is a massive, very ambitious work that is all about how people at various levels are affected by using artificial intelligence. Because whether we like it or not, these systems are here, and I've watched them day by day grow more and more catering, and not even more human-like, but just they know more and more what we are looking for, better than we know what we're looking for. And so how does that work when this system, this software, understands you better than you understand yourself? What does that mean? What are the implications of our not only relationships with the machines, but our relationship with other people? And this short story is a small example of that. How they already didn't have a really great relationship, but it was pretty much fast-tracked to its logical conclusion that, okay, they're going to get away from each other. So I hope it leaves you with some things to ponder. Your relationship with AI, if you are an AI user. If you are not an AI user, then maybe it's gotten you to think about where things might be headed and to experiment with this technology that's a blessing in many ways, but then, of course, just like all things, it has its drawbacks as well, and we don't know what the full effect of those changes will be. So that's what I think about a lot in my writing. I hope you enjoyed the way I presented things. If you want more information about future stories, head over to keithhayden.net, and I've got a lot more stories. I've got music, I've got code. I'm doing stuff every day. So I'd really love to see you around. And if you are someone who wants to write fiction, especially if you are interested in writing a novel, you're in luck, because I have more than a few resources to help you get your story down and to refine it and to get it to market and sell it and actually help you publish. So if you're interested in that, then head over to my website, keithhayden.net, and find more information there. Thanks a lot for listening, and I'll see you around in the next one.